What up, crew? In this episode, we're gonna make a customized 3D printed light cover holder. Let's check it out. Joe P. Kirchma here, and this t-shirt segment is brought to you by Mahogany because we're gonna disguise some 3D printing to look like wood. Now, the reason why we're doing this is because of the awesome and always superb quality of British gas. The previous light had burned out, and we realized there was nothing to code, and everything was almost going to catch on fire. So British Gas came in and just put in the white section of the light. But that, of course, would not hold the entire lamp, and they just left the light hanging like a detective in a 1930s movie. So I first needed to attach the brown threaded part for the glass bulb to screw into. And although the threads were a different size, so the white part would not screw into the bulb, they did have the same diameter, which made things a little bit easier later on in 3D designing. So I took a very poorly working white pen and made the inner diameter rings of where I was going to cut with the Dremel. We still needed the light bulb to be able to move through both pieces. There was also a part that stuck out and wouldn't be flush when we would put these two pieces together, so I cut that off as well. This tool is an absolute lifesaver. I'm not sponsored at all by Dremel, but it is one of the best tools you could possibly have in your arsenal, and much quicker than a 3D printer. It did make quite a bit of dust with the old plastic, but it just gives you an excuse to look cool in a gas mask. I'm taking my time and cutting off all of the spots along that white line. It doesn't need to look pretty, it's going to be covered up anyways. All I need to do is have it wide enough for the light bulb to be able to go in and out. I initially thought that gluing the two pieces together would be the best option, but I decided to just screw them together by pre-drilling some holes and then threading in a cut screw and tightening those in 6 different spots. Once I had the initial holes that I wanted, I then transferred a line onto the white piece so that I knew where it would line up at, and then used the old holes to drill on the white part so that everything lined up perfectly. At first, I wasn't sure that the screws would be able to hold the entire weight of the glass ball, but after putting 4 in, I realized that's overkill and it's very strong, not gonna go anywhere. Alright, so now all of the functional parts work. We have the bulb, we have the 2 parts attached, it looks fine, but we now need to make it match with the other light. This is going to be kind of difficult because they probably don't make these things anymore, and even if they do, they're not worth the price. However, if you have a 3D printer, then the only limit is your imagination. But wait, it's not corny quote time yet. I then sketched out the old dimensions from the other light, and then designed something in Fusion 360 that would be pretty identical. What I'll mainly be utilizing is the revolve function. This will just help us make a side profile, and then we'll turn it around 360 degrees. So I first sketched out the side profile of the object, and then I just swept it around the center point, giving it the 360 degree shape, then made a few little tweaks and saved it as an STL. Now, I gotta stop here and admit that the first one that I did was way too short. It was off by 1 centimeter and it looked like there was a huge shadow behind it. It was no good. But through the miracle of rapid prototyping, I just made another one, extended it another centimeter, and it looks perfect. Great fit. It took about 6 hours to print, and I'm not going to show you that because I didn't film it. It was kind of boring. Then all that was left to do was blend up some paint and give it an old weathered look of a 1970s love shack. I used black PLA so that when I weathered the outside, it would kind of come through underneath and give it a more natural look. I also highlighted the 2 crevices with a little thin black ring just to make it pop a little bit more. And now, the moment of truth.
Yeah?
Even my buddy Bones approved of this one. And of course, housemate Hugh said this was the best project yet. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something, and I'll put this file online if you want to download it and make your lights look just like mine. Now, lights out, quote on.